This conference will now be recorded.
Call to order and announce a quorum is present at this meeting for Type A EDC. It's called to order at 11:43 a.m. Agenda item number 2, items of community interest. The Hazlet Public Library will be closed July 28th through 29th, 2022 to allow staff to shift from the new integrated library system. The library will reopen on Saturday, July 30th at 9 a.m. Agenda item number 3, discuss, consider, and act to approve the minutes from the June 22nd meeting. You'll take a few minutes and look that over. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes have passed. Agenda item number 4, discuss, consider, and act regarding the financial statement for June 2022. Mayor, I have a question. I noticed that there's been a lot of different organizations that we were once involved in. Are we going to move forward with that? Or are we going to drop that on coming into this next year?
With regard to economic development and those type of organizations,
Right.
such as, help me out, Morris. What's the, say it again? And we could, well, I'm at my opinion is we're at a crossroads here, and a lot of those organizations exist to go out and network, trying to draw folks into your city. We're at a point now, the world knows our address because of Alliance Airport in Burlington, Northern Santa Fe, and a highway system, both on the east and west of us, and they are beating down the door to be here. Mr. Schwanke fields a lot of calls on that. So, and I go, well, should we be spending our resources, which we don't have a whole lot of, on those type of activities? One side of me says no. But I'm not, it's not a, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think what you said makes a lot of sense. And if we don't need the networking and they're coming to us and we are not going to participate, I feel that the monies can be spent in wiser ways throughout the city. So I think we need to take all that into consideration and, move forward as needed.
Well, I'm glad you said that, and that, with all our growth and which the title of my budget year, this is growth, responsibilities, and the cost of ownership. It's, we have, I'll say challenges, the responsibilities that we have to execute on. And we have a plan going forward. And it will take wise use of all our funds and resources that we have moving forward. There's a lot of interesting opportunities out there, and Mr. Morris is party to all of it, people that are interested in coming to Haslett. And I don't think we need to go out there and beat the drum anymore. I just don't.
Well, we can try that, and if it works, all the power to us and move forward. Does anybody else have any questions about the financial report? Do I have a motion to pass the financials as presented?
I'll move that we accept that financial report as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Motion passed. I'm sorry, I didn't have it on. Do you want me to repeat that?
Please, thank you.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
commissioners, of course, it's not several things here. One is to go along with that previous discussion is that we are being approached daily, whether it's people wanting to build in Haslett, whether it's residential or businesses coming and various types of businesses. And I guess in days past, going back many years, when we were sure wish somebody would come to Haslett, well, our cup overfloweth now. And they were we called them a director. An interesting thing, Mr. Chambers, when he was prior to his announcement that he was leaving, we talked about economic development. He says, Mayor, I have never in my 7 years here have ever worked in that capacity. It's always been like a project manager on Haslett Parkway or something of that nature. So that, I gave a lot of thought to that. And we don't, if we were in a full-time pursuit of trying to get people out here, then I could see maybe we need a full-time person to do that pursuit. Now, what I see that we need is someone who can field those calls, make those meetings, has an understanding with regard to how a business and what type of business would affect Haslett, even to the point, maybe assessing what type of sales tax revenue they might be able to bring. So we have a kind of a complete picture. And I call it's a coordinator. They're not directing everything, but they are certainly fielding those calls and keeping everything coordinated and interacting with the boards or the Type A and Type B and the city. And also I saw it then I thought of Mr. Schwenke. Mr. Schwenke is our planner, city planner. And a good economic development person has to have an intimate knowledge of our zoning and our planning and how a particular business would complement. And that's what we're after, is to complement our city and those portions of the city that a particular business may go. And I thought of Mr. Schwenke maybe being that coordinator. Excuse me. I apologize. And I approached Mr. Schwenke and asked him if he may have interest in that and give it some thought, and went over his background with him with regard to economic development, though he's not worked as a full-time economic development director / coordinator. His has all been in planning, but all over the many years, it's always been in coordination with economic development. So he's not a stranger to that topic. So my proposal is to appoint Mr. Schwanke as this economic development coordinator. And it's on an as-needed basis. It's not full-time. And that I think he has the background and the knowledge, the skill set, the presence to represent Haslett and the commissions, A and B, very well. So I would invite you to ask Mr. Schwanke anything you would like. Maybe Mr. Schwanke would like to give you an overview of himself.
I would like that opportunity just to tell you a little bit about myself.
Please do.
Okay. Well, I started my career in 1976, and I was the Assistant Director of Planning and Development for the City of Arlington. This is after I received my master's degree from Kansas State University in Urban Planning and Geography. After about 6 years of doing that, I moved on to the private sector, doing planning work for about 22 years on both sides of the bench, from this side and also from the private developer side. So I have a unique knowledge of what they need and what the cities need. And my philosophy is both sides can win, and there's a balance somewhere. After those 22 years of being a private consultant doing that, the city of Anna decided to hire me as their first planning director. So I was the planning director, the building official, the parks director, the GIS specialist, and for 9 months I was the interim city manager. And so I have a wide spectrum, but in doing that in a small city, you wear a multitude of hats. It just goes with the territory. And having said that, when I went to work there, they did not have an economic development director. That was something that came later. But everybody that comes into town, the first place they stop is the planning department. They want to know what your comprehensive plan says. They want to know what your zoning ordinance says, and what's the potential of them moving into the city. And so I've worked closely with a lot of economic development corporations, since then, helping them to direct, what's good for the city and what's not good for the city. And I've really done a lot of that here already, vetting businesses that come here. I had one this past week where they wanted to move in. They were looking at all different kinds of sites. And after vetting it, I asked them to send me pictures of their existing business, and they redefined ugly. And so I said, this is not really what the image that Haslett really wants. And so that's what I do a lot of is vetting businesses and say, you need to go on moving down the road, or yes, this is something that we would really like to see here in the city. And so that's what I do.
Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Schwanke?
I don't from him, but I do the mayor. Mayor, is this position, because we've always had one when I've been here since I came, would this be something that the city council would replace, would be doing the hiring, not us?
Right. And this would be because you would be, a proposal to this is that you'd be party to paying Mr. Schwanke's fees. And unlike previous, I think the city had 51%. I don't know if that was kind of an ownership thing or what it was, but I look at it, it'd be a third. And looking at so yes, to answer your question, I will take it to the city council. And I believe it will be on the agenda Monday night. It's already it hadn't been posted yet, but it's on the agenda now. And of course, I would carry your recommendations as well, up or down. But the ultimate, that would be the proposal. And as far as the fees, it'd be a 1/3. And we've already done estimates of estimating, both Morris and I worked together too, and I increased it a little bit. but we're looking at maybe about, it's under $40,000 a year, as opposed to we're paying like $175,000 a year package previously. There's no office space associated with this or anything like that, but I think we'll get a very good service out of it. But I will take it to the city council. So since 3 entities, 3 different corporations are involved, we got to get all 3.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, I'll move that we recommend appointing Mr. Swanky as EDC coordinator for the city, and move that recommendation on to city council.
I will second that. All approve? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Mayor, do you have anything to say on this, or Miss Marcy?
I was just going to say that these have been prepared with the assumption that we would not have the salaried employee. And so those expenses have been just removed from the budget. I left the other items pretty much the same because I wasn't sure how you wanted to redirect your funds. So your operations and maintenance and your marketing expenditures, kind of lending to the conversation with the mayor earlier, if you're not going to be traveling and advertising and all of those funds can be redirected to something that you want to redirect them to. I did carry forward the incentive for composites 1 is the 100,000 under the incentive line, and we have not made any payments under that agreement, but I just wanted to go ahead and carry it forward so that it's not forgotten, not lost. And then the debt service payments would obviously still be required. And then you do have transfer out to the general fund and then to the debt service fund for previous debt that you had that you're contributing to. And so those things would need to remain. But everything else is at your recommendation, how you want to recommend those funds be spent.
If I may, with regard to your funds and what you do going forward, that I'm taking that same look for the city. Marcy and I and all of us are working together on that. Everybody, that's all the directors and supervisors. But we are actually looking out as far as 2040 to look at the decisions that we make today. How do they affect us in the years to come? With regard to your funds, we have just closed on one of 2 properties that we're looking at for Project Horse. But all of that's associated with a vision and an intent. And here very soon, here after we get through the budget cycle, I intend to bring that forward to you to help to solidify this and make it a purposeful project and move forward on it diligently and look at the timing of it and how to phase this thing out. Can't be done all at once. but certainly that's going to take resources of A and B. And so I would just ask that you consider that as you look at this. You may have, some reserves, et cetera, there, and what do you do with them? This is a significant project, and it'll have a significant impact on Hassel for the future.
Does anyone have any other questions?
I do, Ms. Lamb. In connection with our previous discussion about some of these things that we've taken on in the past that we won't be in the future, will you go back and adjust those areas in this budget?
Yes, sir, I can. At the time I was preparing these, and knowing that the mayor had not been able to bring the proposal for Mr. Swanky to be on board, I didn't want to just zero everything out until you all had a chance to deliberate. But yes, I can certainly go back and remove those items.
Any other questions? Then may I have a motion to make the recommendation to the City Council of the proposed HEDC 2022-2023 budget?
Would that be as adjusted? Can we add that to it?
I can go through with Katrina and we can look at like some of your expenses that need to remain, like the website hosting and some things like that. But the other things, I can work with her and we can determine, what will remain and what will go away. And we're going to file the proposed budget on Friday of this week. However, we're not adopting till later in September. And so at your August meeting, you'll have another opportunity to look at your budget and review that. Because even though I'll present it in the proposed, it can still change up until the time we adopt.
I was just bringing it up because of our previous conversation, and if we were going to have a motion, I think it should include that.
I would like to make a suggestion, and that would involve Marcy or finance, is that those changes can be made and PDFs sent to you individually via email for your review right away. And you could just give your individual concurrence. Now, you wouldn't need to be talking about it outside of a meeting, but you're all certainly allowed to call Ms. Lamb individually.
Your Honor, could we just put it on the table to our next meeting and vote on it then?
But that would be good, though. Let me ask this: may we, since it will be reflecting EDC A and B's budgets in the overall, can we make these changes that you've already discussed and use that as a basis? And you can change anything thereafter.
Okay, that sounds good.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we recommend the proposed HEDC 2022-2023 budget worksheets, SR-22-295-PDF, that this be tabled until our next meeting.
you wanted to approve that, and then they said that adjustments can be made from there, so we don't really need to table it.
Okay, you go ahead and make it like it.
Withdraw.
I withdraw that motion.
Madam Chairman, may I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Is that the, maybe a motion of, to approve the budget worksheets as discussed with the recommended changes as discussed, and that this will be placed on your next meeting as well.
Thank you for your help. Paul, would you like to?
Yeah, let me
Sure.
know. Made him.
He withdrew it.
Do we have to just dive without it'll dive without a second?
Well, you withdrew, but one method would be to, someone makes a motion and then the chair would call for, is there a second? If no one seconds, it dies.
Okay, is there a second to Bernard's motion? The motion dies.
All right, I'll make a motion that we recommend adoption of the proposed Type A EDC 2022-23 budget with pending adjustments, recommended adjustments that we discussed, and that this budget, once it's adjusted, be presented again to Type A at the next monthly meeting.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Agenda item number 6, updates on current EDC activities. 6.1, economic development report. Mayor, are you going to give that report, or is
Well,
Right.
staff had not, so where's that report? I'm looking for the report itself. Yeah, well, I'm over 40 and can't see that far. Let's pray and see. And I will be happy to run down this list. All right, let's start at the top, Stephen. Frontage. Right. Let's go to Hassett Parkway right of way. And I'm going to include the very latest, might be 2 days old. What you're getting is a month delay. Hassett Park, city attorney is negotiating final agreement deal points. That was one very specific piece of property. It was called Gateway. And that has been signed off. The document was just 2 days ago forwarded to the court for the court to sign off, and that will be a done deal. Okay, let's go to any questions with regard to that item, that topic?
Is that the last piece of property associated with Hassett Parkway? What are we talking?
We have one other that's in discussion next week that involves, it's right on the corner of 156 and Avondale Hassett Road. It's the northwest corner. And we do have the right of way, but at issue evidently maybe a construction easement got overlooked. So that will be next week's discussion. All parties involved in that will be at the table, and we'll come to One is most likely find out what has to be done, and that may be the issue. We can't find the records of that. But if a construction easement has to be negotiated, that'll be front priority. And then all aspects of Hassett Parkway will be finished out.
So is that our utility relocations or is that public? No, I know, I understand that, but we're talking about utility relocations for temporary construction or temporary construction for roadway.
You're talking about the contractor, Zachary.
Yeah, Zachary.
Just for the
they
road
just want
construction.
temporary For access.
Yeah.
That's across that Hillwood property. Hopefully that.
I think it'll go well.
Well,
All right, then, what is it, Mai Tai next, Stephen, there? Okay, Mai Tai, the status of that is of course, this is a Type B project, but the cell contract is being reviewed. We will also, just to bring you up to current events, our city attorney, Messer Fort and McDonald, I received a resignation letter from them, and I have a new firm that I've been interviewed and I have spoke to others about, but nonetheless, that'll be on Monday night's agenda as well to appoint them as our city attorney. I do have a working agreement right now with that new firm, and any new business I can forward to them right away as needed. But very specifically, this the cell contract is being reviewed, and as soon as that's complete and we have our attorney's comments on it, we will be forwarding that on to B for them to close that project.
I have a question. On this Mai Tai property, at one time it says if I remember correctly, that they were purchasing this with the agreement that that parking lot was going to be done across the street so they have parking. Is there an update on that?
On the parking project?
Yes.
You want to give a brief on that? And that's actually on B's agenda tonight or this evening to adopt it as a project so they can fund it. So that's active, but you want to give me things as far as engineering design or the status of where we are on the timeline of that, David?
Yeah, the preliminary concept design and all is done. We've got a tree preservation permit ready to move forward as soon as we get funding, so we can get the trees removed out of the site. But yeah, it's ready pretty much. It will take them probably 30, 60 days to complete the drawings, bid package, and get it out on the street, because our hopes are to start this shortly after the first of our new budget year.
How many parking spots will be on that lot?
I have to look back. I think it's, how many was it? 18? Why do I think of 18? I think it's 18, if I remember correct.
The lot is right next to Mr. Jim's, am I correct?
It starts
To
at
the
Mr.
north.
Jim's, runs out to Hurley. It's that corner of Hurley and 156.
Thank you, David.
Sure.
Are there any other questions on the Mai Tai? Okay, thank you. Would you like to continue on?
Sure,
please?
thank you. And I'll invite Katrina and Shannon. I know they're involved in this next item, but yes, our website as a whole is going through a redesign, and very specifically, I've asked them to, right now, it's a very busy website. It's hard to find information, fundamental information that even I'm trying to, I go through it often and have difficulty navigating through there. So the intent is to strip it down. Let's get the basics. Let's start all over again, then we can build up from there. But let's get the basics for fundamental information for businesses, for residents to find and use those items that are important to them. I have asked the team to give say a content diagram, like page 1. What are the buttons up there? Okay, if I click on the button, show me what's the content in there. So yes, they are looking at other city websites and what they like, but I'm asking for what's the content? The content to me is the most important aspect. We can make it look like whatever we want, but Shannon and Katrina, and there's others involved in that. Certainly our new IT person, I wish he was here. I would like to introduce him to you. Oh, by the way, Wish, let me take a left turn here. I want to introduce Miss Nina Lopez. Nina is my assistant for day to day. I can get a lot of things started, but I got to do them too. That's the hard part. And she's going to help get those things done and provide communication through all the other departments and be an assistant just to keep things rolling, and I can spend time where I'm more effective, and Nina will help get those things done, working closely with Katrina and Shannon and all the other department supervisors. So, Ms. Nina Lopez. Back to the website. So if you want to give a brief of where you are and in the pursuit of all of this.
Yes, sir. Thank you. There are 2 points to this, just like the mayor mentioned. We are doing a content revamp and also a look revamp. We are working with Civic Plus, our current website provider, and we will be coming up with a new diagram of what everything looks like, and they're supposed to be giving that to us this month. We are working on making sure that the economic development website stands out, because it should be the same colors as the city's website, but it'll be a little bit different, and we'll have businesses and everything, and all the information that we need to get from the mayor and Mr. Schwenke on that economic development website. And then we are also, like the mayor said, stripping it down, making it easier for people to find content. We're going through the legal requirements that need to be on the website, and then also Katrina's knowledge of when people call in and what they want to look for, that kind of stuff, so that will help be able to make sure that's easy to find as well.
Commissioners, I would like to make mention, as you as commissioners on EDCA, if you have suggestions about your website and how it looks and the content, from your perspective, it would be valued to have that input.
Yes, definitely. The 3 of us, Lucas, Katrina, and I, are working on that, and so you can email either one of us or all of us at the same time. But once we get more moving forward, we will definitely start bringing things to you to see.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, I just want to make sure that the board members are following, because this is a little confusing. So the website that we had, that was hasletedc.com, we have made the decision to incorporate a premier page on haslet.org. hasletedc.com will not be a website going forward. And I don't think that was clear here. So just want to make sure y'all knew that.
Any questions for Katrina or
Well,
Shannon?
that might be something for them to consider, because I think they probably paid for it. So what's your thought about that? Okay, well, there you go. We'll save you some money.
Well, anything to make it user-friendly.
We are trying to get there, and we feel that using the same website address, haslett.org, and then give the menu, and so you have your economic development page, would be a lot easier than trying to keep up with two different websites.
I totally agree. I hope everybody else does.
And those funds that have already been paid are moving forward with your premier website within the haslett.org. So your money has not been wasted. It has been used for your purposes for your page.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome.
I want to make,
You have any questions of me?
I just want to make one comment to go back to the Mai Tai restaurant. There, the parking lot to the west of it, excuse me, to the south of it, 14 spaces is the answer.
I'm sorry? Right, that's what I was going to get to. 6.2, Haslett Parkway construction.
Good afternoon, Commission. This is just and don't look at the date on there because I screwed up and didn't change the date. This is as of July the 21st, not February the 16th. From our section 5.1 and 5.2, which is our basically the wide portion there at I-35 to Harmon Road, all the asphalt underlayment is completed and done. Matter of fact, just today, they brought in the laydown machine for the concrete because the outer lanes have already had the rebar done. They brought the machine in. They're out there calibrating and getting it set up in hopes of possibly before the end of the week, we may start pouring concrete on that section of roadway, which is a big plus, big movement forward. So that's important. That's a big thing coming up. Our section 3.2, which is Harmon up to Intermodal Parkway intersection. Same thing. All of our asphalt underlayment is done. We started the rebar is probably about 85, 90% done on that section also. So they'll be ready, keep moving on with pavement as we keep going on. The 4.1 and 4.2, which is the intermodal intersection up Intermodal Parkway back to the north. That one, the underlayment is done. Rebar is already complete. Matter of fact, the bridge there is going to be one of the first pours starting next week. They're going to start pouring the outer lane concrete on that bridge. Then we're moving to the 3.1, which is Intermodal Parkway all the way back to the first bridge going to the west, which is our Haslett Parkway Bridge, as we call it. That one is also the rebar, the underlayment is already done. Rebar is already on the outer lanes. That one is planned probably third week or so of August, if everything goes correct. That one we started getting its concrete outer lanes done. And then from that bridge all the way up, sewer lines complete, been tested, passed. The bridge decks, of course, completed. And the asphalt underlayment is all the way up to the backside of the schoolyard now. So we're way along in the project. We've done quite good. We have, as of yesterday, what they call the 1B, which is Harmon Road. If you've been through there, half of that intersection at Harmon and Haslett Parkway has been poured. Any luck this weekend, the second phase of that will be done, so that intersection will be finally back open again. They'll take down all the temporary stop signs, signals down. So that's hopefully going to happen this weekend if everything goes correct. And then over on the Avondale portion of the project right now, of course, they've been doing some fence work. but the low pressure side of the Atmos utility gas line, they've started construction on getting that relocated. We're still waiting on Encore to get their plans for their relocation of their portion, and waiting for Atmos's high pressure gas line relocation project to get started. But things are moving on, and then the mayor's probably got something he would
No,
definitely like to
I was
share.
going to ask you to tell them about the L.
That's why I would let that for you to tell them.
Me?
Yeah, you
Well,
worked awful hard on getting that open, so it's a big deal. We call it the L. That's basically I-35 Intermodal Parkway intersection, Intermodal Parkway section all the way. That has been approved and is going forward. All of that is going to be accelerated.
there we go. There's a change order. As Haslet Parkway, it was contracted to build as one piece, one project from the east to the west. And until it was 100% complete, there was no traffic allowed. And it just made too much sense. Why don't we concentrate over here, accelerate this one piece, which would be Haslet Parkway to Intermodal, far left right there. And that gives, and open it up to traffic as soon as possible. And that would give a very expedient route for logistics industry, because that takes them all up into our warehouse district, as well as the warehouse workers. And we thanks to, it was a real, truly a public-private partnership. And we started at the ground level with the private folks, and then elevated it to Tarrant County and to COG. And they go, wow, you're bringing the private money first. Usually it's the other way around. And they said they didn't hesitate to say yes. And so that change order's already been signed, and that's been concentration for the last month. Now this will, instead of Haslet Parkway as a whole being finished July 2024,
Yes, sir.
that's when it was going to be open to traffic. This will be open this next March 31st, open to traffic. So that should give us a lot of relief off of 156 from the logistics folks, and it'd be a good thing. And there's some business around there. They're excited about it. Of course, they're warehousing and logistics industry type businesses that it'll accelerate that, which is a good thing. And it will be a plus for the developments, residential developments on the south side of it there too.
Oh, yeah. It will accelerate their plans and their connections. So they're excited about it, seeing this happen also.
But it was an effort. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but nothing worthwhile is not. And but thanks to David and the staff, and it all came together. And I'd like to say at net zero cost to Haslet.
That's the most important part. It's not costing us anything.
So is this, I assume that the project is still on schedule. At this point in time, we probably wouldn't want to say it's on schedule.
It's on
no.
schedule, yes.
This project is essentially a month old, but they're optimistic going in, to hit that date of March 31st.
So I meant the whole, yeah.
Overall, yeah, the overall
I mean,
project
there's
is
been no
still,
Yeah.
it's still on schedule, yes.
Yeah, no hiccups, no utility problems.
Like he said earlier, that one TCE is the only thing outstanding currently. And once that's figured out, they can finish the rest of that off. They're ready to get started on this portion over here on Avondale now. And like I said, they've already doing the, utilities stuff has already started, but they need this one piece to get over there on Hillwood's property to work on it. That's mostly all to do with road right away. There's really not a lot, but there is the high pressure gas line passing through that property.
But Adams is responsible for paying for the relocation of all of that, the high pressure side. I would like to state that, of course, TxDOT manages this project for us and with our help. Nonetheless, they also keep the books. And their look at, and I talk with them, we all talk with them regularly, but their look ahead and the progress that the contractors made, they expect for Haslett to realize a savings on this project, which will come back to Haslett in the tune of about $1.5 million. So they're doing very well. They're looking ahead and they expect that Haslett will realize a savings of about $1.5 million that'll come back to Haslett.
On a TxDOT type contract?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So probably just the underutilization of contract quantity.
Well, I'm not guessing why. If they say here's $1.5 million, and I'm going, thank you very much, and I've gone.
I understand that. I'm used to that.
I don't care how it got here.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Nevertheless, you're right.
So what that points to is Zachary, the contractor, is doing well. That everything's been accounted for, that everybody's worked diligently towards this, and they're on top of it, and it's going well.
It is. It's some of the quantities. It's also, we got a lot of the easements for a lot less than anybody originally thought. So a lot of those easements came in under price, and, of course, that was all us. So those things like that, I mean, all the little pieces added together, it's adding up to a lot right now. So that's exciting too. That's good news.
Of course, I'm going to say this with the caveat that the job's not done yet. We got another 1.5 years to go. So anything can happen.
Thank you, David. Okay, agenda item number 7, executive session. We have no executive session. Okay, number 8, consider an act on any items from executive session. There are none. Agenda item number 9, consider an act regarding items to be placed on our next agenda. Do we have any? Then we are adjourned at 12:36. Thank you.
Thank you. Your next meeting is August 24th.
Thank you, Katrina.